I don't know what even that percentage is that these two are going to be here in Tampa.
Wow.
Today's
both sides of it.
I thought Tampa Bay had a very uphill battle to climb. Now I think they're in the discussion.
Is there a problem with Brady's Bucks? Spicy there.
Sell.
Spicy?
When I'm wrong, I let y'all know.
Okay.
I've come up here about the Cowboys, said I was wrong.
Yes, you
Come
have.
up here about Wentz, said I was wrong. I let y'all know when I am wrong, but America,
Here we go.
I also let you know when I'm right.
Here we go.
And yes, there's a problem with the Bucks. Every 6 plays, BA wants to take a shot.
On clock.
What does Tom Brady not do well this season?
Oh, you going there?
Take shots!
Really?
And if you have eyeballs, you would understand the very thing that Bruce Arians wants to do, take shots. Tom Brady does not do well. Bruce Arians is asking Tom Brady to do something that he is anatomically, at 43 years old, disadvantaged at doing.
Right.
Bruce Arians asking him to do what he can't do.
Well, he can do it. And that's the thing. As I told you, the early part of the season, he was able to do that. Yesterday, he was able to do that. And that's why they almost beat the nearly perfect Kansas City Chiefs. You saw him go 4 for 7, 152 yards on balls traveling more than 20 yards down the field. Tom Brady can hit the long ball. Tom Brady was stuck at 28 touchdowns a year, plateaued, and then they gave him Randy Moss. That year, he went from 28 to 50. Yards per attempt, everything went up. Why? Because Tom Brady, I know this was a long time ago, but that time, no one had the conversation. Oh, you know what? Why are you asking Tom Brady to throw it deep? He's used to dinking and dunking. You have the receiver. You have the receivers. You go out there and throw it deep. Now he has those weapons. Why not go out there and throw it deep? Tom Brady is still ranked 5th by all quarterback rankings by Pro Football Focus. All these quarterbacks, Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady's right there. You can't put this on Tom Brady, and I think you're trying to do that without saying it. Be explicit with your take, brother.
Tom Brady's on pace to throw for his 3rd most touchdowns in a season. 3rd most. The most illustrious quarterback career of all time.
3-time
Third
MVP
most.
on top of that.
Third most.
Yep.
But Tom Brady's on pace to throw for his most interceptions in the season. Bruce Arians, with Jameis Winston, most interceptions in his first season. With Carson Palmer, career high in interceptions. With Andrew Luck, career high in interceptions. With Peyton Manning, career high in interceptions. These are all #1 overall draft picks quarterbacks when Bruce Arians was the head coach, career high in interceptions. Tom Brady now on pace to have a career high in interceptions.
And I'm just saying, do not bring up Jameis Winston and Tom Brady because the wins already shut that argument up. In the red zone, where it matters most, Tom Brady is second to only Aaron Rodgers in terms of touchdowns and interceptions. You don't want to bring that up. You want to continue to, you want to talk about all the things that look like they're falling on Tom Brady's lap, but you don't talk about the positive things.
Tom Brady has not been who they expected him to be, but that's because they're asking Tom Brady to be something he can no longer be.
When you are asked to do a thing, you have the opportunity to say, well, coach, that's not what I'm comfortable doing anymore. But pride, ego, what you have done in the past prohibits you from uttering those words. And so we all, I don't care who you are, Marcellus, you've done it. We know when we're past that mark. We know when we can't really provide what we used to, but nobody really wants to admit it. Nobody really wants to own up to it. They all want the opportunity to still show, yeah, I still can throw 40 plus times when they know they can't.
I'm going to give him 90% of the blame.
90% of the blame? Did you watch the game?
I did. I watched the game, and I watched his first 4 drives. He had 1 first down and went out. He was 0 for 4 on 3rd down.
It's a go route, but Brady's throwing more balls under extreme pressure. You see this? Now, you're going to say, oh, another deep ball that Brady didn't complete.
Well, look where the pass was.
Perfect. Incomplete. If you watch Evans at the bottom of your screen, Brady's looking, are you coming back or not? And so he doesn't really know definitively when he's going to stop. See how he's slowly looking at him, Jim? And then Brady starts to throw, thinking he's going to keep running.
For the Bucs here in the first 10 minutes of the game.
Just another miscommunication, and, well, this is where Godwin, see a little hold there, just kind of loses his footing.
So what the defense on the field when Tom Brady threw those interceptions? I mean, you gonna let me speak? I mean, you gonna do it?
I'm just waiting.
Well, go ahead,
for my turn. No, you go.
If you're waiting for your turn, let me talk, Skip.
Okay, go.
I know you're upset that Tom Brady got outplayed again. Again, Mahomes is the MVP. So now Pro Football Focus looks even worse. You look even worse. See, the problem is, Skip, baby, is that you have a hard time letting that go. Tom Brady's status is established, but he's not the same player today. What caused him to get that status, and that's okay. Basically, all he did was pull a Prescottian. He had a bunch of empty calories at the end of the day.
Really?
How many of those came in meaningful time? Meaningful,
Is
yeah.
it my turn?
Yeah, meaningful time. Look, I'm not gonna. I'll let you go, and then I'll get to my tape where he was spraying the ball all over the field, throwing the ball. I forgot, bouncing the ball off guy's helmet.
I want our viewers out there to understand that this man just said Tom Brady deserves 90% of the blame. And yet the final score was what? Maybe I fell asleep. I don't know. I think it was 27-24.
Yeah.
I think Tom Brady pulled off 2 late long drives of 75 yards and threw 2 late touchdown passes to cut the score to 27-24 with 4 minutes and 10 seconds left. Is that a long time? That's an eternity for a guy who leads all of the National Football League history in fourth quarter comebacks in overtime in the fourth quarter. He had plenty of time. He had 4 minutes and 10 seconds left, and what happened? He never saw the football. It's like what you said at the AFC Championship game in overtime. Well, Mahomes never got the football back. 4 minutes and 10 seconds and you can't get the football back?
No.
Tom Brady yesterday threw for 369 yards and 3 touchdowns. And guess how long he had the football? 23 minutes. That means in 37 minutes that Patrick Mahomes had the football, he threw for 462 and 3 touchdowns. So if you do the math on that, if you only have the ball for 23 minutes and you throw for 369, guess what you're on pace to do? You are on pace, if you had the ball for 37 minutes, to throw for 555 yards. Is that good? I think it's like all-time great because I think it's like record great.
Yeah, it would have been. It would have been.
Yes, thank you very much. So,
don't worry about it. He didn't need it. He already dropped 462 on you. Has anybody ever had a day against Tom Brady like that?
It is not reviewable like it is on down by contact fumble.
1st and 10, deep, and he's got Crunk. 2nd down, 20. Brady looking for Lewis. He's got the ball. Lewis blocks, and they go deep, and he is looking. What a catch made.
Play action on 2nd and 2, and a shot downfield. Hauled in stride by Matthew Slater. It's the back. Brady looking right, firing for the touchdown to Gronkowski. Hernandez, he's back on the bench. Brady takes a shot back to Hernandez again. What a catch. Give her a chance. Where's Brady out of the gun from the half-yard line? Why not? To Wes Welker. Wes Welker pulling away, and he ties an NFL record with a 99-yard touchdown.
Oh, my. How many guys throw it out of their end zone in an empty backfield?
As Don Meredith said when Tony Dorsett did it, 99 yards and a half.
He already dropped 462 on you. Has anybody ever had a day against Tom Brady like that? This man owns Tom Brady now.
Guys,
He'll never beat him again. He'll never beat him again.
Stephen A., let me ask you this. Was it Brady who cost the Bucs a win?
No, it was not. When we look at yesterday, we can sit up there and we can point the finger at Tom Brady all we want to. I would say to you the name Carlton Davis. You ever heard of that name, Max Kellerman? Ever heard of that name? He would happen to be the cornerback for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers that was lined up opposite Tyreek Hill. Okay? Tyreek Hill, a 75-yard bomb. Tyreek Hill, another touchdown where he backflips into the end zone, showing nothing but utter disrespect for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tyreek Hill, who had 203 receiving yards in the first quarter. Tyreek Hill's the best wide receiver in football. In case somebody missed it. He's the best wide receiver in football. He's the fastest. He's got great hands. He's strong as a bull. And let me tell you something right now. He's leading everybody in yards. Put on an absolute clinic. Todd Bowles, I don't know what the hell they were thinking about not doubling up, not having help over from the safety over the top, doing something, playing a zone defense on other occasions against these brothers. Makes no sense whatsoever. But that is what happened, and that is why this is not on Tom Brady.
Oh my God. Here come the excuses. This is ridiculous. Let me tell you whose fault it was. It was Patrick Mahomes' fault that the Bucs lost. Patrick Mahomes, who basically ended the game in the first quarter. No, Brady couldn't make that up late. It was too much. In the first quarter, he and Tyreek, yes, they put on a show. Really? You want to go there? Explain something to you. Right now, I've been straight up the whole time. This season was about, was it more Brady or Belichick? One of the great sports debates in the history of American sport. More Brady or Belichick? Oh, we're about to find out. What I say early on, I have to admit it. Brady's got weapons, but he knows what to do with them. He looks good using them. He has not fallen off the cliff. And I question, is this the first time in 20 years we can ask, is Belichick actually still the best coach in the NFL? Remember, I asked that out loud. I didn't say no, he's not. I said we can actually start asking that question. Right now, Brady looks better than Belichick. He set it up to look better than Belichick. He left Belichick without a quarterback, right? If Belichick wanted to go to Garoppolo, Brady went to Kraft, had Garoppolo shipped out of town. So he set it up for himself. Brady's going to look better. But nevertheless, I was just straight up and down. Yup, Brady looks better. Who looks better right now? Who is it? What's going on right now? Belichick is now a single game under 500, 3 quality wins on the season against really good teams, 2 plays away from being a couple games over 500 with nothing. No defense, no offense, nothing. Fewer weapons than Brady had last year. Brady's got an embarrassment of riches. Today, you're talking about because Bruce Arians isn't perfect. No one's perfect. You know who Belichick is? He's Floyd Mayweather. Floyd used to say, don't make no mistakes. Because Floyd would make fewer mistakes than the other guy. That's Belichick. Brady doesn't have that anymore. Now he has a regular coach. Bruce Arians is good, but he's a regular coach. And you want to blame yesterday on Bruce Arians? No. No, the difference in the game was Mahomes. And if you switched quarterbacks, obviously the Bucs would have won.
The question was, did Tom Brady cost the Buccaneers a win yesterday? And we're talking about yesterday. And yesterday, what did we witness? When Tyreek Hill caught a 75-yard touchdown pass, Max Kellerman, he waited, turned around, backpedaled, okay? This is what happened, okay? If you're watching this guy, you got him in single coverage. You don't have anybody on him. He's literally waiting for the football. Patrick Mahomes flung it with all his might. And still, Tyreek Hill was so fast and so wide open, he had to stand there, take pictures, say, Max, Molly, Stephen A., please don't forget to talk about me in the morning before he caught the damn ball. That's how much time he had. That's how much space he had between him and Carlton Davis. That's how wide open he was. Here's what, to me, makes your position laughable. So Tom Brady, and long before he was 43, had he had reached the cliff that ultimately became a ravine. Did you know that Tom Brady, other than his first year as a starter, has never thrown less than 23 touchdowns in a season? Ever. Cam Newton only did that 3 times in his career. Do you know that right now Cam Newton has got 4 touchdowns and 9 interceptions?
I'm not saying that Cam Newton is done. I'm saying that he's just another guy. And so when I say he's just another guy, I say he's that middle of the pack guy. He's that guy that can make a play every now and then when you need it, that makes a team that makes a team be exceedingly better than they should be that day, but he doesn't do that for an entire season.
Did you just hear what Max slid in there? He said like Tom Brady. So now Cam is like Tom Brady.
Middle of the pack.
Tom Brady
And
like
the
that?
smirk after.
Is that what you're saying?
Hold on, yeah. Here's the difference. They're both middle of the pack, but Tom Brady is on a totally loaded team and didn't have COVID, where the facilities weren't shut down for days at a time, consecutive weeks. And Cam Newton has nothing on the team, did have COVID, and is one game under 500. Like, are they both middle of the pack?
But the thing is, though,
only Cam
Ryan,
and Cam has got to go back from catastrophic.
The second ain't about Tom, though. We're
Have you
talking about
ever
Cam.
seen, Ryan, has there ever been a day, has there ever been any year, even his MVP year, has there ever been a year that we looked at Cam Newton and said, he's a better quarterback than Tom Brady, he's a better passer than Tom Brady? Ever.
Not passer, but better quarterback, yeah. Better player.
No, who's the better player?
He won the MVP, Stephen A.
The season's almost over. Come on, you gotta start fast, you gotta finish strong, and they didn't do that. That's universal in the NFL. I thought this team wasn't prepared to play. They weren't prepared to coach. So they got outplayed, they got outcoached yesterday. When you think about offensively, how disjointed they looked again. They continue to make me use that word. I don't know what they were trying to accomplish in the passing game. They weren't in sync. That's a part of my notes. I'm glad he said it.
They lost this game because in the first quarter, they could not complete a single third down. And in the third quarter, Tom Brady couldn't stop turning the ball over. It was 17-0 before the Bucs got any type of offense going. And I think we can show you the Brady incompletions. Now, if you were just listening to the game, Tony Romo would have you believe it was everyone else's fault but Brady's. That it was one guy didn't get wide enough, one guy didn't get high enough, one guy was on the wrong page. But if you actually watched these third down misses, you know the quarterback was wildly erratic.
Well, look where the pass was.
Perfect. Incomplete. If you watch Evans at the bottom of your screen, Brady's looking. Are you coming back or not?
For the Bucs here in the first 10 minutes of the game.
Just another miscommunication, and
that gives him a little help to read. Fournette was the back, and that pass off the fingertips.
And then in the third quarter, when the Bucs had a chance to get back in it, Brady had back-to-back interceptions, one of which went off a defender's helmet, and Romo still blamed the receiver for not picking up the hot route. So Brandon, I think as bad as the Tyreek Hill stat line makes the Bucs defense look, I thought the defense was okay. I thought their passing game and their offensive attack is why they lost and were getting blown out for much of yesterday.
Do you agree with Nick that this was really all on Tom, mostly on Tom Brady yesterday?
No, and I know I'm going to be the Tom Brady apologist, but we spent the last 3 weeks talking about how he couldn't throw the deep ball, and he looked fine on the deep ball, Nick. He didn't look like Mahomes, so if we're going to talk about, like, was this a torch passing game, they did feel like two very different quarterbacks. But overall, when we were harping so much that Tom Brady can't throw the deep ball, they should go back to Bill Belichick's system, Bruce Arians shouldn't be calling these, he did fine.
No, that's ridiculous. Wiles, that's insane. Listen, the game was over after the first quarter, so let's show Brady in the first quarter if we could. 17-0 against the Chiefs, you're dead. So how did Tom Brady look when the game was in the balance? Oh, he was horrible while Mahomes was perfect.
In the balance in the first
once
quarter.
the Chiefs... Say it again, Wiles?
How are we going to be in the balance in the first quarter? Just because you guys opened up a big lead, you're going to say it was in the balance?
Brady's numbers end up looking better because in the fourth quarter, while the Chiefs are playing soft prevent, they had 2 extended touchdown drives.
Thanks. Over and over the years.
Brady's going for the big ball. He's open! Evans for the touchdown on 4th and 3.
While the Chiefs are playing soft prevent.
Get people running sideways across the field.
The Bucs timeout leaves them with 2.
While the Chiefs are playing soft prevent.
To the end zone, flag out, touchdown Evans.
If they win the division, which I think they will, if Tampa ends up as the 5 seed, That's a tough matchup for the Bucs because of the pass rush. But if it's Washington, Tampa, that is not the matchup the Bucs want to see.
Buddy, we talked about this in the pregame show. I'm debuting a new thing. It's called Great Nick Predictions. It's this notebook. I'm going to upgrade the notebook. But saying Tampa Bay, it's not the matchup they want, dude, that's not gonna move the meter for the show. That's not gonna go viral. I need something stronger out of you, bud. Give me something I can work with in the notebook.
Well, we've got 2 hours on the show. I was going to wait until 9:18 a.m. Eastern, but I will say what I truly believe. If it is Washington, Tampa in the first round of the playoffs, Washington will win that football game. Wild card weekend. These 6 teams are all fighting for a playoff spot. They are fighting to be included in wild card weekend. Unfortunately for them, for all those teams, that is probably the ceiling of their season, with the one caveat being maybe the Ravens turn it around. I do think, as I said last week, that they're going to win the division, and if they get the Bucs in the first round, I think because of the pass rush, they beat the Bucs.
1 week later.
All about the matchup tier, meaning any of these teams, if they make the playoffs, can absolutely win a playoff game if they get the right matchup. The Bucs need to play a team with no pass rush.
Do you think this weekend is a must-win for this Bucs team to get things back on track?
Hell no. They're not going to miss the playoffs. So is it a must-win? Well, they have to start feeling good about themselves. Look, Brady has a lot of wisdom. I think when he talks about winning and competitive stamina, everyone should listen. The man knows what he's talking about as well as anyone who ever lived, right? From that point of view. However, 3 consecutive games is plenty of time to start feeling good about yourself, build momentum, and start to play better. And it's against the right teams. 2 against the Falcons, 1 against the Lions. This ain't a must-win. I rest my case.
You certainly did not expect them to have as much trouble as they've had on the football field, particularly with Brady and Arians on the same page. I think every game is pivotal the rest of the way because of that relationship and how it needs to be once the playoffs arrive.
This notion that Bruce A. like, oh, we so much better than everybody else, and we play our A game, can't nobody mess up. You've been watching the last 3 games. Y'all been getting the brakes beat off you. It's your first game you won in a month. So let's not get carried away, BA. This was a game that Minnesota had the field goal kick. I don't know how it would have turned out. It might have come out with the same outcome, Skip. But you can't give away 10 points on the road. I've never seen anything like this, Skip. I've never seen this lopsided of a possession. Almost 20 minutes.
39-21. 39 minutes to 21.
Skip, that's unheard of. I'm trying to go back. I've seen 10, seen 13, 14, but not almost 20. That's ridiculous. And Bruce Arians up there pounding his chest like, man, you see when we beat the brakes off him. No, you didn't. You got a chip shot. It was rightfully called. The guy PI'd, and I know people like, man, they call PI on a Hail Mary. The guy was holding Gronk all the way down the field. Damn, son.
Everybody gets away with everything on that play.
Well, Skip, if it was in the end zone, had it just been in the end zone, but Skip, he was doing this all the way down the field from the 20-yard line.
No, but this is like the Shaq treatment, like Shaquille O'Neal at his greatest, at his most dominant. People just beat all up on. He's Shaq. Right. You know, they don't call it. They don't call fouls on Shaq. They call charges on Shaq. Yesterday's was as baffling a football game as I've ever tried to figure out, because about half the time I'm with BA. About half the time I saw firepower on offense and on Tampa Bay defense that made me think, gee, if they ever click, if they ever gel, if they ever ignite and detonate, they can be as good as anybody in the NFC. Let's go to good Brady first, and then I'll go to lots of bad Brady. But the first play is 3rd and 4 from the 48. So it's 3rd and 4, and he goes 48 yards. And guess what happened on this play before it was run? We didn't see it right there, but would you believe that little Scotty Miller went in motion on this play? They had run little to no motion for the first, 3/4 of the season. Yesterday, 51% of the time on 25 of 49 snaps, they actually put men in motion. Right. So in the bye week, they said, let's do this. And that happen. In motion, so Tom can identify man, and he knew he had Scotty man-to-man matched up on somebody who can't run with the guy who runs 4-3, and that happened. And then let's go to the next one, which came in the third quarter on a 1st and 10 situation, but they actually ran this thing called play action. Brady lived on play action in New England. Play action, wasn't much of play action, and all of a sudden, guess who's loose down the sidelines? Mike Evans. He can throw one up, and bingo, you've got a play action big completion to set up a touchdown. Right. Okay, I'll take that. And then this came late when they're trying to hang on to the lead. This is 3rd and 8 from their 38. And this guy named Antonio Brown, who still gets high targets, he got 5 targets and he caught all 5 of them. Mm-hmm. So they're still trying to fit him into the rotation. That was Brady's, to me, best throw against 3rd and 5, and he's doubled on the boundary, and that saved them and ate the rest of the clock, and they were able to win the game. There are no risk it, no biscuit. Right. They score They score or they don't score. Right. You know, it's go for broke on one big play or they don't.
Right. And Skip, when you look at it, Brady was off a little bit yesterday.
He was, especially early. He missed Gronk.
He missed Chris Godwin.
He missed Godwin on a cross where it was late in the. He had stepped up and pumped, and then Chris Godwin came completely free, and he just flat out airmailed.
I thought Brady would have a big day. But the simple fact, Minnesota can't pressure the quarterback. And you saw Skip on the throws that he had, on the one he hit Scotty Miller. Skip, I don't know why on 3rd and 4 you rush 3. You can't get pressure with 4. So you're going to take one and you got a guy spot. Why would you spot Brady? Like Brady go run for the first down like he Lamar Collins. Yep. Why would you do that? I just didn't, Zim, I don't get why you would do that. You're not going to confuse him rushing 3, allowing him time to pat the ball, because he'll just wait. They had the guys, Skip, if you look at it, they got the one guy on the Hail Mary. Just rush 4. And if you don't get there, you don't get there. But you're trying to rush 3. Everybody's trying to get exotic. Oh, you see, I rushed 1 guy and got a sack. I rushed 2 guys and got a sack. Stop trying to get quirky. Just go play straight defense. I thought Brady would play better for the simple fact, Skip, they don't rush the pass. And I was like, you know what? He's going to have a time. And what we've seen from Brady in a game that he's played well, you don't get pressure on him. Yep. You don't get pressure on him, he still can throw the ball down the field. Yep. He's still pinpoint accurate when you don't pressure him.
If I do the algebra on this, if you gave Brady the ball for 39 minutes, like Cousins had it, then Brady would have thrown for 351. So it doesn't sound great when it's 196, but he did that in 21 minutes. At that rate, he would have had 351 and 39.
When you got the ball, you got to do something with it.
Okay.
Like you said, they either keep the ball and they put the ball in the end zone, or they go in 3 and out.
What did they do in New England? What did Tom Brady do? Long drives, 80 yards in 13 plays, 75 yards in 12 plays. They don't do that. That's not how they do business, and he's trying to do it the Bruce Arians way. But I still trust the offense more than I do the defense. And then you knew this was coming. And
look at this.
The second one, that's a makeable.
He's trying to kick it in the pirate ship.
Yeah, this is 54. And
that ain't even scale.
It's not even close.
Hey, does he realize, you got to kick it between the uprights? Not if you get in the end zone, you get points.
Yep.
Between the uprights.
So in the end, I'm going to give the Tampa defense that I don't trust a little bit of a break. You realize it was nearly 100 degrees on the field yesterday in December?
At least, Skip, it's easier when you practice in it. Tampa's been down in the heat. And Tom Brady says, I'm never leaving in the Northeast again.
Yeah.
Ever. I'm not going back there.
He says, you won't catch me dead in the Northeast.
He said, I kind of like this warm weather. But just imagine Minnesota, although they were practicing inside, Skip, it's 30 degrees, it's 20 degrees in Minnesota, and now all of a sudden, because I remember we played the Dolphins in a playoff game, Skip, we're in Baltimore. We bundle up, it's snowing, it's cold, and then we get there, it's 85 degrees. Man, I'm like, it was almost like I hadn't been done anything for the last 3 months.
I got it.
But you like what BA had to say? Oh, you like it BA now. So now BA, you and BA back boys.
I like that kind of almost, it's like positive arrogance, but he's right. That they're capable of doing any of the above. They just need to take off now.
Marcellus, when you play in college, when you play in the league, really in college, there are some dudes that are practice superstars. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
In college, you got some cats, one-handed catches. Give me that. The best pass rush moves you've ever seen in your life. In college and practice, they go crazy.
Yeah.
But when the game come on, when the lights come on inside the stadium of 100,000 screaming, that same practice all-star nowhere to be found.
Where you at?
Oh, the Buccaneers in practice, Marcellus Wiley, they look amazing. What do I mean? 6-1 record against teams under 500. Ooh, in practice, these Buccaneers look like Super Bowl champions. No, Marcellus, the Bucs don't look like Super Bowl contenders. What they look like to me is that practice all-star in college who you knew when nobody was watching, dude went crazy. But as soon as the whole world started watching, he wasn't the same guy.
I love that take. Love that take, but you know me. You got caught up in the wrong P word. You kept talking about practice. And I think this team is a contender because they're thinking about the playoffs. You keep talking about how they haven't shown you fully what they're capable of, and what you've seen to this point makes you think that they're not a contender. I disagree with that totally. If you give them a chance, they will show out in the dance. That's what Tom Brady's about. That's what Tom Brady's always done. Let me start here with Tom Brady before I expand into an umbrella conversation about the team at large. It's Tommy time. It's time to show you when Tom Brady matters most. I can admit that this year's been a little bit of a roller coaster ride in terms of who Tom Brady's been in the regular season. But when it's playoff time, the right P word, look at these numbers. They kept talking about philosophy, philosophical differences, and you pointed them out, but you just didn't know where it came from. It came from them coming to agreeing minds. He didn't have his most prolific game because this is the building blocks of what they're agreeing to do, which is when you run the ball, think about how this is compromising the passing game, how it's going to affect the defense, and even special teams. That's the way Tom Brady learned how to play football in New England. Complementary football. Bruce Arians plays a completely different style. Now you're seeing the merging of the minds, and it's going to show its way in the playoffs.
You can play winning football and lose games.
Yes.
You can.
Yes.
And
Facts.
you can surely play losing football and win games.
Yes.
You can do that.
Oh, look at you.
The Buccaneers yesterday, they played losing football and still won. As soon as the playoff primetime show up, Bruce Arians is like, wait a second, I'm just as good as Tom Brady in my job. Hey, AB, Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, Gronkowski, let me get all my dogs out there. Even if all my dogs aren't as productive as Scotty Miller, hey, Tom Brady, we're going to throw the ball 50 times. But, Coach, what about Ronald Jones? Don't worry about Ronald Jones. We throw the ball 50 times a game. I'm the guru. Don't talk to me about this game against the Vikings and proving they're Super Bowl contenders. Don't get bamboozled, Marcellus Wiley.
You talk about losing football. Is having 6 sacks losing football? That's what they had yesterday, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Is Tom Brady not being sacked at all losing football? Is Tom Brady with 0 turnovers losing football? You got to use Tom Brady's words and take them as evidence of what they're trying to do. This is what he said. Tom Brady was talking about how they made progress over the bye week and what they saw from yesterday. He said, just finding a rhythm, finding ways to win games, and making plays in situational football like we did at the end of the first half and at the end of the game. So I chose that Tom Brady deserved criticism this season.
Absolutely. Unlike what Colin ended the show with, talking about we in the hood, he was on to something. He was on to something. Right. If you get praised as the GOAT, which we do, we praise Tom Brady as the GOAT. If we give Tom Brady a pass because he's the GOAT, which we do, we give him a pass at times because he's the GOAT. Remember when Tom Brady berated his teammates on Thursday Night Football, I believe it was against the Chicago Bears, cussing everybody out except for himself? Marcellus, you came on the show and you said he can do that. He's the GOAT. He's earned that right. Well, if we gonna give him praise because he's the GOAT, and we gonna give him a pass because he's the GOAT, oh, he gonna get this criticism like the GOAT. Jameis Winston was beating bad teams. Tom Brady came to Tampa Bay to take them from average to great. Okay? Tom Brady not doing that.
Not doing that?
He's not doing that.
You know that's a fact.
Huh? I do.
Okay.
I do, because what we have seen is what we have seen. And the big eye in the sky, it don't lie. Because Tom Brady is here and Jameis Winston is here. Because Tom Brady's a Hall of Famer and Jameis Winston is a backup. Because Tom Brady's the greatest quarterback of all time and Jameis Winston is currently in bust territory of #1 overall picks. Dang. So I am going to compare Tom Brady versus playoff teams to Jameis Winston versus everybody. Because Tom Brady, you came to Tampa Bay to beat playoff teams. So Marcellus, is Tom Brady deserving of his criticism? Absolutely. Because what you came to do, you not doing thus far.
Tom Brady is the GOAT. And we know that criticism is the cost of praise. And no player has been praised more than the most accomplished player ever in Tom Brady, the GOAT. With that said, let's not exaggerate. Let's not get excessive with this. And it sounds like your take was being excessive. Let's pour some on Tom Brady because of right now, we don't think this team is great. And Tom Brady, you were brought there to make this team great. But Tom Brady will retort, hey, Acho. You don't even know your name. He gonna say, Acho, I seen you on TV. Sam? No? Oh, okay. Emmanuel, he'll say this. You know what I'm brought to do? Win championships. And guess what, Acho? I don't even win them every year. Guess what, Acho? I don't even win them every other year. But it sounds like you have a declaration out in the universe that Tom Brady goes to a team, Tampa Bay, first year, new coach, new system, new players, and he's supposed to win this year. We don't know how that's going to play out, but right now, Tom Brady always puts the ball in the regular season to what matters most to Tom Brady, the postseason. That's why I don't understand your take. I don't understand why you got so much bass in your voice in the regular season. And Bruce Arians now comes out after a game and says this. Look, what he did at the end of the half and to start the second half against Minnesota, score 17 points. You guys shouldn't be criticizing this guy for his play because of what he did in those moments. That was a marriage, agreement on philosophy, on culture, that's going to pay dividends going forward when it matters most in the postseason.
You are too biased. You literally came on this very show, on this very set, and with all the bravado in the world, you gave Tom Brady a pass because he's the GOAT.
I gave him a pass.
Yes, sir.
He earned that pass. I just gave him what he earned.
Great. You gave him what he earned. Well, you know what else he's earned?
I give you what you earned.
What he's earned is criticism when he performs below the bar. Ooh. What's the bar?
What's the
bar?
Tom,
if you're not going to come in and make this team the best team in your division, if you're not going to come in and make this team the best team in the conference, then at least come in and make my offense better. At least come in and make my offense better than it was last year. The Bucs offense right now, 17th ranked. Last year, they were 3rd ranked. Now, the Bucs defense this year is 7th ranked. Last year, they were 15th ranked. I get that. The defense has vastly improved. But Tom Brady, if you're not going to come in and instantly start beating playoff teams, because Jameis Winston was 0-6 versus playoff teams. He couldn't beat playoff teams either last year. But Tom Brady, you 1-4 versus playoff teams. So you can't beat playoff teams either. Jameis Winston was 7-3 versus non-playoff teams. Tom Brady, you 7 or 6-1 versus non-playoff teams. So really, what you out here doing? Wait a second.
Oh, really?
I thought we was bringing you in here to not throw these picks. Because Jameis was first in the league last year in picks. Tom Brady, you 5th. You got more picks than Daniel Jones and Matt Stafford. Tom Brady, are you 21st in pass yards per attempt? Wait a second. That's worse than Cam Newton. Tom Brady, are you 25th in completion percentage? Now, come on, big dog. Don't sit here and make me wait and to see what Tom Brady's going to do in the playoffs. That's fine. I'm going to kick my feet up. I got my Uggs on right now underneath this desk. I'm going to kick my feet up and I'll relax and I'll wait. But what I won't wait for is for the offense to improve because Tom Brady, you came here to improve the offense.
And I'm the one that's biased, but you up here wearing Tom Brady shoes, but I'm the one that's biased. Let's talk about what I got here to counter your argument right there. You really don't like complimentary football. You're like most naysayers, most couch potatoes, most fantasy players. All they want is excitement. All they want is those winning numbers, and even if it doesn't mean winning results. Jameis Winston comes to mind. Oh, my God. I would love him on my fantasy team when he throws those touchdowns. Then I would try to abort him off my fantasy team when he throws those picks. And you brought up the picks. Is Tom Brady 5th in interceptions? Are the Bucs 8th in turnover margin? Now, you may say, what does that matter? It's top 10, but it ain't that special, is it? Oh, yes, it is. You know what they were last year?
What's that?
28th. I wonder how you go from 28th to 8th and how it affects the entire team, not just Jameis Winston's stats. I tell you how. When you play complimentary football, when you win the middle four, when you are a guy that makes sure you don't turn the ball over and get the defense out there tired, you're a guy that's playing complimentary football because you're thinking about all three phases as you're playing your position. Tom Brady, 30 touchdown passes, his most since 2017. But Acho wants to sneeze at that. Like, what standard are you living by? Tom Brady is a better version than he was last year, the year before as well. So if you look at Tom Brady in a nutshell, this is a guy that's going out there and helping to win. You want to hear a top 5 stat? that's not a negative?
Please.
How about fourth most
one.
touchdown passes in the NFL this season? That's what Tom Brady's doing. He's taking care of the football better than Jameis Winston, which is allowing this team to be better than it was last year, as their record indicates. 7 wins last year, 8 wins this year, and still have games to go.
Complimentary football. Against the New Orleans Saints, a playoff team.
Yeah.
The Buccaneers passed the ball 38 times. They ran it 5. That's not complimentary football.
They were getting smashed.
Against the Los Angeles Rams, weren't getting smashed in this game.
No.
The Buccaneers passed the ball 48 times, ran it 18. That's not complimentary football.
That's before the bye.
Against the Kansas City Chiefs, didn't get smashed that game.
They didn't get golfing yet.
The Buccaneers passed the ball 41 times. They ran it 13. That's not complimentary football. Don't come here and lie to America about complimentary football when in these 3 games, if I can try to do this math in my head as I am talking, the Buccaneers have rushed the ball 33 times and they have passed the ball. Ooh, that looks like 100 and maybe 36, and I just did that on the fly, sir. So if that's complimentary football, I don't ever want a compliment from Marcellus Wiley.
Look, I told you they came to a marriage, an understanding, an agreement after they went golfing on the bye week. You keep giving me pre-bye week statistics. They got to go on the road, right?
Yes, they do.
I'm going to read you this sentence.
Please.
And please answer honestly, emotionally.
Yes, sir.
Don't come up here acting, because that camera's on right here.
Never do.
Tom Brady has been at his best on the road this season. 296 passing yards a game, 15 touchdown passes, 2 interceptions, and a 107 pass rate. Do you have confidence in the GOAT when he goes on the road with this team that's playing complimentary football going forward? Yes or no, Acho?
No.
We on TV, that ain't interesting.
No.
Say something.
No, because I thought about it. You told me not to lie. I had to pause. The reason I say no is because I think what trumps that, Sel? Primetime games. You know that. What trumps all that amazing statistic you just gave me?
On the road.
The problem is what you left out is prime time games. Tom Brady, I trust him as a baller. Bruce Arians, I trust him. I liked him when he was at Arizona coaching Carson Palmer. I like Bruce Arians. But what trumps all of those stats that you just gave me is when the lights come on, Bruce Arians does not know how to coach this team. At least that's what we've seen thus far this year. Don't talk to me about the one game since the bye week that they won in part because the Vikings field goal kicker had a historically bad performance. Haven't seen a performance like that since 1961. I'm not throwing out everything except for their last performance, so.
Wow. Tom Brady's on a team that hasn't won a playoff game since they won the Super Bowl 2002. Acho, junior high for you. Not even junior high for you. It's been a long time.
Not even.
Not even. So guess what? It's a barren land in terms of opportunity, in terms of success in the past. But when I look at this team right now, they have the proper leadership. They have the GOAT. They finally understand who they are in terms of philosophy. And I got to point out one more thing.
What's up, big dog?
Because you really are biased against Tom Brady, bringing up the fact that he was cussing his teammates out, but didn't cuss himself out. You said that. You said that.
I did.
All right, Acho, let's play a little game right
Talk
here.
to me.
If I'm going to cuss you out, what do I have to do? I have to say it externally, right? So you can hear it, right? If I'm going to cuss myself out, do you need to hear it? That's my point. The GOAT cussed himself out. He's so damn gangster, nobody even heard it.
When I watch this Bucs offense, I think they got a healthy dose of Ronald Jones. That's going to be the key to their running game.
Yep.
Again, the run game helps the pass game. And then when you have Tom Brady making accurate downfield throws, you saw the throw to Scotty Miller. That was huge. Those are big parts of a football game. And most importantly, and you can't put enough emphasis on this, Todd Bowles' defense, the 6 sacks on Kirk Cousins, that was huge. If they can attack every quarterback and put them under siege like that every single game, they're going to win a bunch of football games and be a team that nobody wants to face in the playoffs.
Yeah, this was a ludicrous quote by Bruce Arians. Do anything, any damn thing we want to do. Evidently, you wanted to throw for less than 200 yards and have 300 yards of total offense, which was not even above average in the NFL yesterday. The Bucs did what they were supposed to do. We all thought they'd beat the Vikings. By the way, I think they're going to finish the year 4-0. I think they're going to finish. They play Atlanta twice in Detroit. None of those teams can rush the passer. And if you can't rush the passer, the Bucs will look good against you. Unfortunately for Tampa, in the first round of the playoffs, Brandon, they are going to either be playing Seattle, New Orleans, Green Bay, or Washington. I'm sorry, Seattle, or the Rams are a possibility as well. Pardon me there, my apologies. So whomever they play there, to me, has a significant edge over them, including Washington, because Washington can rush the quarterback. So I'm happy they won. I'm glad for them. But this didn't change my opinion on the Bucs at all, Brandon.
There's two teams, two quarterbacks that can throw it more than they run it. That's the Green Bay Packers and Aaron Rodgers. If they choose to do it, they can. And that's also Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. Everybody else, you better have a balanced attack. So what you saw yesterday, Tom Brady throwing it 23 times, handing it off 23 times, that's dangerous. That's exactly what got him the last 2 Super Bowls, is having a balanced approach. Offensively, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, that is the recipe. What happens when you have Tom Brady, a smart, savvy quarterback who can still get it done, handing it off 23 times, throwing it 23 times, it opens up everything outside. You have these dynamic pass catchers, and what happens? Oh, look, the deep ball now, we start to click. We start to connect there. You had 2 bombs, Scotty Miller, Mike Evans. That's what happens when you run the ball. Play action. Oh, who's wide open in the end zone? Gronkowski. That is the recipe.
So I was surprised that Bruce Arians came out so confident, Brian, because Shaq Barrett had the right idea when he said, quote, "Tell the field goal kicker we appreciate him." I think the Vikings were totally demoralized when not only is Dan Bailey missing kicks, they're opting not to take a kick too, so they spared him a miss. So for me, you tell me what the vibe is like in the locker room, because I would be a little Debbie Downer in there as the Bucs are celebrating and be like, yeah, guys, but it was kind of Dan Bailey, you know? We could have easily lost the game, right, guys? And be like, wow, shut up. So for me, I think there's no reason for the Bucs to celebrate when the story of this game is actually Dan Bailey.
Every game in the NFL, you celebrate. I mean, every win. And no matter what it is, no matter how you win it, whether it's a kickoff return, a fumble, intercept, no matter what it is, even if it's the opposing kicker misses 3 field goals and the extra point, you celebrate every single win, especially for a football team that may have some struggles as they move down here and try to get into the playoffs. They struggled at points this season. You talk about the Tampa Bay Bucs. And so celebrating victories is what it's all about. If I'm Bruce Arians, I have absolutely no problem with what he just actually said. If I'm on that football team, that's what I want to hear from my head coach. Confidence. I want to hear my head coach believing in us. And I also want to hear my head coach thinking that, hey, we need these types of tough wins in order for us to go out there and win in the playoffs. This is a good win for the Tampa Bay Bucs.
It's a very good win. If they lost it, they'd be on the outside looking in the playoff picture. It's a huge win because Minnesota's the team chasing them for what could be the final playoff spot. Arizona, Minnesota, and Tampa went into this weekend, only 2 spots available for those 3 teams. So it's a game they had to win, and so of course they can celebrate it however they want. But Brandon, I'm shocked that a game that went about the way you thought it would has changed your opinion of this team. We know what their structural weaknesses are. Going into this game, Brandon, you thought Tampa was a dangerous team? You thought Tampa before?
Yeah,
Am I misremembering?
Nick, you know I've been high on Tampa all year. You know that. Like, this is a team that if they can get their stuff right, fix their identity on their offense, they're absolutely dangerous. Look at that defense, a top 5 defense, and then you have Tom Brady who can still get it done. That's what we pay Tom Brady for. I'm not paying Tom Brady to drop back 40 times. I'm not paying Tom Brady to throw it for 300-something yards. I'm paying Tom Brady not to throw a bad ball or interception in situational football in the critical moment. That's what I don't want.
I thought they were the most unimpressive team that I focused on yesterday. I mean, they earned 21 points. They scored 24. You're not going to get that Hail Mary field goal that whatever, if it's a penalty or not, you're probably not going to get those 3 points traditionally. And then the Vikings kind of hurt themselves with all those missed kicks. That's 10 points right there. I mean, you could easily lost that football game to a team that was in overtime against the 1-win Jags the week before. And you look the same as you did before the bye week. There wasn't a ton of, impactful pre-snap motion. There wasn't a ton of play-action pass. There wasn't a ton of 12 personnel. There was a drive in the third quarter that looked cool. Other than that, you looked very similar. So I walk away going, what did you guys do in the bye week? What did you figure out in the bye week that you're like, we got to do more of that or we got to do less of this? I thought the Buccaneers looked very similar to what they did for the great majority of this season offensively. and they were really unimpressive to me in their win.
This isn't a team that moved the ball up and down the football field against the Minnesota Vikings. This isn't a team that blew the Minnesota Vikings out without them losing 10 points because Dan Bailey can't kick the oblong ball made of pigskin through the big H. They were struggling offensively against the Minnesota Vikings. They missed some plays early until the Scotty Miller big touchdown. They didn't run the football necessarily as efficiently as I think they need to for the play action game to be great. And this defense wasn't dominant at all. This is the team that's supposed to be ascending to be an NFC championship contender, and they are not. And that's what Bruce Arians should have been talking about more than the fact that they could do whatever the hell they want.
I just think that there's nothing in this football team that makes me go, the expectations are Super Bowl. There's nothing in this football team that I go, that's a Super Bowl caliber performance or unit or identity. I don't see that at all with this football team.
We expect potentially all of those teams to be going home wild card weekend, unless, of course, they match up against each other, in which case one team has to move on. We don't trust 4 of those teams' quarterbacks, and the one team whose quarterback we do trust, Kyler. We don't trust their coach, Cliff Kingsbury, at all. And I would imagine the Packers also have scored far more points than the Chiefs in the last month in games at Lambeau or in games that Aaron Rodgers plays in, if we want to parse it to further things that don't matter to the committee. Games are not decided in the first half. They're decided at the end of the game. The game was over after the first quarter, so let's show Brady in the first quarter if we could. 17-0 against the Chiefs, you're dead. So how did Tom Brady look when the game was in the balance? Oh, he was horrible while Mahomes was perfect.
In the balance in the first
once
quarter.
The Chiefs... say it again, Wilds?
How are you going to be in the balance in the first quarter? Just because you guys opened up a big lead, you're going to say it was in the balance?
Games are not decided in the first half. They're decided at the end of the game. But I do remember vividly gambling on a Packers-Jags game that was in the balance late into the fourth quarter.
From the 42-yard line, Mahomes stepping up, stepping away, throws on the run.
All the Chiefs have been doing is defending their title brilliantly, and no one has yet earned the right, Brandon, to move up to the Chiefs tier. As much as you love Aaron Rodgers, I think deep down you know that.
There's 3 teams that we should be looking at as the scariest teams that could enter in the playoffs. Here they are. Number 1, you got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Wild, you can break this team down better than me. I just think, this could be the team that's reminiscent of the 2005 Pittsburgh Steelers, where they were sitting at 7-5 and on their way out of the playoffs, and then they just got hot and went on the run and won the Super Bowl. These 3 teams should have their own tier, scariest playoff matchup because of how they're playing.
I'll be very quick here, and that graphic's a great graphic, and I love that you included those 3 people, and you in Tom Brady, Phillip Rivers, and Josh Allen. You asked me, do I remember how the Bills finished their season? I do, like this. Josh Allen doing an over-the-head backwards lateral in a playoff game while they melted down against Houston. Here's how I saw the last time Phillip Rivers was in the postseason. Here's how I saw his season end. Yelling at wide receivers because he has sailed a ball over their head walking off the field. And the last time I saw Tom Brady in a postseason game, here's what I saw him do. Almost get whiplash as Logan Ryan ran past him on a pick 6 to end the game. So yeah, they are scary. For those 3 guys, scary if you're rooting for their teams because you know that's probably how the season's gonna end.
Hi, Kevin Wilds. I'm here with a new petition. Fresh from the Raven's claw, I hereby recommend, in fact I demand, that the Pirates of Tampa Bay be moved up 1 tier for the following reasons contained in 4. Article 1, number 1 run defense in the entire NFL. They are only allowing 81 meters per game. And sure, you might say, well, Dalvin Cook just ran for 100 meters. Well, does every team have Dalvin Cook? Have we made Dolly the sheep cloning possible for every team? Then it doesn't matter. Article number 2. The new balanced attack not only is my favorite footwear brand as it is for all people above 65.
So good.
The balanced attack of the Pirates has been an issue all year long, and Mr. Westbrook, this hurts his heart as a running back. The splits between passing and running. 41-13, 48-18, 38-5 at one point. They ran the ball 5 times. However, during the Vikings game, 23 passes, 26 runs. Hello? Bruce Arians is back. Balance, balance, balance. Article number 3.
New balance.
Protect the GOAT. Yes, he's taken 16 sacks. Very good. Very, very good. 4th fewest in the league. Also only pressured 17% of the time. That's good for 5th best in the league. However, Nicholas, he has been hit 47 times, which puts him in the upper quartile. I think that would be a problem for most people, especially in his upper age. But the fact that he's having delicious, healthy shakes, just like I do every morning with a little bit of Metamucil to keep my spirit sharp, is not an issue. So for the following reasons, please move the Pirates up to their rightful spot up a tier. Good day.
The expectation is for you to look like the GOAT every single day, whether it's in practice or on Thursday night football, Sunday night football. Like, you have to play at a high level, and he hasn't gotten that done on a consistent basis this year. But look, Tom Brady has changed everything about this organization this year. Last year they went 7-9 and they weren't in the playoffs. This year they already got one more win than they had last year, and they're going to go to the playoffs. Tom Brady is definitely bringing this team together. He's brought this team together. You have to understand how difficult it is to not have an offseason, to not have a preseason in a new situation.
All right, so listen, the question is, are we going to grade Tom Brady on a curve, or are we going to grade Tom Brady against his contemporaries? Because if we're going to grade him on the 43-year-old curve, then yeah, he's not getting enough credit. Like, we about once a year, you'll see a video of a 100-year-old man who sets the world record for the fastest 100 yards by a 100-year-old man. Yeah. And it's like, man, that guy is amazing. But if he were like, hey, Usain Bolt, Yusafa Powell, let's dance, then it's like, oh, okay, well, you stink. Actually, you're terrible, and I'm not. Now, I'm not saying Brady's that, but it's what we're judging him against. I'm going to have the very polarizing opinion that we should judge him against other NFL quarterbacks. So can we just see how he stacks up this year? Let's just show it. His completion percentage is 25th. That's worse than Dalton. His yards per pass is 21st. That's worse than Cam Newton. He's got the 5th most interceptions in football. That's more than Daniel Jones. And his passer rating's worse than Baker Mayfield, who everyone hates but me. So, I don't know. It seems like he's been okay. Wilds? Maybe they should be a little better than the 6th seed in the NFC. I don't know. Okay. But compared to the other 43-year-old quarterbacks, he's awesome. Unfortunately for him, he's the only one, so I don't know. That's where I land.
What percent of the blame does he deserve for putting him in this situation? Now, see, I'm not going to let you kill the monster that you created and then play.
I haven't spoken.
Why? I didn't say your name. What a minute.
You said me.
No, I did not. No, I did not.
I haven't spoken.
I did not say Skip Bayless. When I want you to speak, I would address you, Skip, or Skip Bayless.
Okay.
I am not going to let someone write the narrative. They kill the monster that they created and become superhero. That's not how it works.
And as you always tell me, wait a second, the offense gets the ball. So the offense had gotten the ball like 5 times up to that point and couldn't do nothing with it.
And what happened? And what was the final score? What did it score, like 51 to 31?
But that's just a bad sign. Wait, how about the Titans? They go in there, they're up 17-7 second quarter.
Spot them.
Woo.
Spot them.
Mahomes away boy? I don't get it.
Hey, this what we do, Skip. We spot you, pat you on the shoulder, says, okay. Thank you for participating.
Yeah.
Now go.
Huh.
So he created this situation that he ended up he and the offense digging them out of. But I thought, you know what, Skip, to be honest with you, I'll give 50-50 because I thought the first half the defense didn't get enough stops, and Matt Ryan should have had more points on the board than 17. But the defense bowled their backs in the second half. And what could have gotten out of hand is that they made timely plays. They made just enough plays to allow Brady to get on this rhythm. And that's what happens when you have the momentum. Does Mahomes play defense? The Falcons should have known this scenario because they had a 28-3 lead against this guy and wasn't able to create enough separation. They always had an answer for whatever the Falcons tried to do in the second half. So I want to give them credit. So if you want Brady to get some credit, I'm going to give him 50% of the credit, 50% of the blame. I'm going to give that same to the defense. But I thought he played well in the second half. 320 yards, 3 touchdowns in the second half, and got them back in the game. They actually won the game. So that's where I'm at. 50-50.
Then in all my years of watching professional football, I have never seen 2 halves back-to-back by the same team like that happened yesterday. At the end of the first half, I was ready to proclaim on this show, sitting in this seat, that no matter their playoff chances, that team didn't belong in the playoffs. And by the end of the second half, I'm now ready to sit here and proclaim in this seat to you, this team could win it all this year.
No, they can't.
Yes, they can.
The only way they can get past the NFC if somebody upsets New Orleans. They can't beat New Orleans. They can't because Tom Brady can't withstand that pressure. Skip, you saw it twice. What did your eyes tell you? You say you're an eye test guy. What do your eyes tell you when they match up with the Saints?
What my gut tells me is there's one man in sports I do not bet against, and it's Thomas Edward Patrick Brady Jr. You talk about Pavarotti at the Sydney Opera House. This was the Mona Lisa in the second half. I have never seen him better. I've never seen any. This guy.
The Falcons?
He just keeps doing it.
The Falcons. Aaron Rodgers was 27 of 33, 327, 4 touchdowns, zero INTs. He had 4 touchdowns, 6 incompletions. Aaron Rodgers had a 97 QBR. Tom Brady had 85. It had everything to do with it, and no, he did not deserve to win this award. Aaron Rodgers should have won this award, but I understand.
Against the Atlanta defense?
Hold on, the NFL team, right?
I don't know. That's debatable. You've already called for the man's job, right? And in that game, they had to start 4 backups at all 4 DB positions, and 2 of those got hurt during the game. Shannon, they're dead in the water. They're down 17-0, and this man comes out and says, no, I got this. And here came Brady out of halftime. I don't know if he gave a Psycho Tom speech at halftime and said, that's enough of this, you know what? He came out and said, watch this. And he said it to his defense, and he said it to Matt Ryan and the Falcons, and he said it to his offensive line, and he said it to all his receivers, watch this. And all of a sudden it's 24-14, and I'm thinking, uh-oh. And then his defense finally starts to get the message. Wait, our guy, our golden god is back. He's turned back into vintage Tom Brady. And would you believe in the second half alone, Tom Brady threw for 320 yards? It's the most yards in a second half this whole football season by any quarterback.
You said his, hold on, wait a minute, just for a second, just for me, just appease me. You said his defense was pathetic in the first half, yet you just said Tom Brady had 60 yards and 5 first down, and you up here praising him. So was he not pathetic in the first half?
Yeah, I told you they didn't look like a playoff team in the first half.
Okay.
But what is he known for? He's known for second halves. He's known for fourth quarters. He's known for overtimes. He is the comeback king. He is the clutchest player I've ever seen in any sport, and I take it even beyond Michael Jordan.
Well, this is what we saw. We saw the tale of 2 halves. We saw one half where they put pressure on him, and the first half they got pressure, they sacked him, they brought safety, they brought slot blitzes, they brought corner blitzes, they got pressure, they brought gut blitzes. They got him on the ground. But what we see with Tom Brady, what seems to be the reoccurring theme, is that look at when they've lost, and you look at the teams that beat them, what do? The Rams, what did they do? Relentless pressure. Now, if you think Tom Brady could have survived that onslaught that Mahomes ran the gauntlet through yesterday, you're sadly mistaken. You know good and well, because you saw it on a Sunday night. They had to call timeout to kick a field goal. So you can stop this notion. Relentless pressure, and Atlanta couldn't. Skip, don't make Atlanta seem like they're a playoff team. Like, come on, don't do that. I'm giving Tom credit. But he created the monster. Now you want him to be the superhero because he slayed the monster? He created it. He went to a team that's loaded. The problem is he can't carry you anymore. He needs Mike Evans, Chris Godwin. He needs all that. All I'm saying is this. You talk about the 320. What about the 60 yards in the first half? Does that carry equal weight, yes or no?
No, it doesn't carry equal weight to the third and fourth quarters. I told you Friday how dangerous it was because what did Carolina just do to my homeboy in my homeboy's home?
They lost. What they did to they beat the brakes off Tampa. That defense is relentless. And you think he can get out of what Mahomes got out of yesterday?
3 times is the charm. I just hope they get to see them somewhere along the trail, even in New Orleans. I would love that what goes around comes all the way back around.
Give Tom his credit. He played unbelievable in the second half. And the thing is, if you can't pressure Tampa's offense, I don't know how you beat them. Because, look, Rojo is out with that index finger.
And that's a huge factor because they had little to no run game yesterday.
Right. That momentum swell, Brady started playing well, and then the defense, they front running. But I tell you what, the only chance you got, Skip Bayless, is if somebody knocks New Orleans off. Because there's no way. What if they hit Brady like that?
You'll be fine.
No,
be fine.
You better stop. You ought to stop. Skip.
43 looking like 23.
Skip,
and by the way,
it.
Speaking of numbers, Tampa Bay had 0 turnovers yesterday and 1 penalty for 10 yards. That means it's the Patriot way in Tampa Bay.
See?
That means, look out, Bill. And wait a second. Whatever happened to Bill Belichick?
Don't do this, Skip. Don't do
Whatever happened? They're 6-8 and they missed the playoffs for that's the worst record they've had since pre-Brady.
No,
way to go, Tom. You got this.
Way to go, Tom.
We got
Virtuoso. Masterpiece.
Let's Skip enjoy today.
Somebody drew sideburns on the Mona Lisa. Because if that's the Mona Lisa, she got mutton chops. She got mutton chops.
No, she's beardless.
So, Marcellus, do you trust Tom Brady's Bucs down the stretch?
I do trust the Bucs. I do trust Tom Brady down the stretch. Obviously, postseason ball is synonymous with Tom Brady and his success. So you know that when it comes to this moment in time, Tom Brady's going to show up for that moment. Now, it's a team game, and it's a team accolade to go out there and say we're Super Bowl champions. So he's going to need everyone in tow for them to go out there and achieve their goals. That said, oh, Tampa. Yeah, I don't even know how to say this, but in life, I remember in high school at least 3 different moments when I really wanted to go to that party. And then my mama was like, hell no. My mom was 6'1", 250. So when she said no, I felt no. I felt
all
no.
that no.
Through her words, I felt the no.
I respect
so
it.
just imagine that this Tom Brady team that wanted to be the number 1 seed, obviously. Wanted to win the division, obviously, because look at the perks of that. But then there are some good things that can happen from you hearing a no. That's not happening for you. My mama told me no. I heard about shootings at all those parties. Back, 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 back. Thank you, mama. What about the Tom Brady and the Bucs? Guess what they lined up for? The NFC East winner in the first round of the playoffs. Oh, I'm glad that somebody upstairs said that, nah, y'all not going to get everything you want, but it's still going to be good to you, good for you. I look at this team right now establishing a winning, never say die culture. Why? Down 17-0. Acho and his team's back, well, looking at your record, y'all would have tapped out. Y'all ain't having Tom Brady on your squad, and Acho, you want Tom Brady either. I keep telling you that. You hate that point. I could not know how to jab you. Point being, Tom Brady, in these moments, he doesn't flinch. He doesn't blink. And that's why his team didn't flinch. His team didn't blink. 5 years prior to Tom Brady, using the same team and organization, that team was 7-36 in second half comebacks, the Buccaneers. What about Tom Brady this year? Already 3 comeback victories for this same team. He is planning the season. You're starting to see a blossom of a winning culture that will pay dividends once we go forward in the postseason.
You better stop
Or is making real sports sense. You didn't make any of it. No, I don't trust Tom Brady's Bucs.
What?
You shouldn't trust Tom Brady's Bucs. The whole season, Tom Brady's Bucs have been deceptive. Now, I understand. We're on two sides of the coin here. I have trust issues. You do not.
Okay.
But it's becoming even more so apparent when we debate this topic. Marcel, why would I trust this Buccaneers team when the defense, which has actually been like who we should depend on all season long, 23rd ranked defense since week 7. The other reason I can't trust Brady's Bucs, I've said this last week, I will say it again. Bruce Arians Buccaneers fans brought Tom Brady to Tampa to win playoff games against playoff teams.
And we haven't played in the playoffs yet. So
haven't.
So we're good.
But you want me to clap for Tom Brady? Clap for yourself. You want me to clap for Tom Brady for beating a 4-10 Falcons team without a head coach? That's what you want me to do?
Don't do that to the Falcons.
Marcellus, Jameis Winston, even Jameis beat bad teams. But y'all brought Tom Brady to Tampa to beat playoff teams, not to beat the Falcons. I did not gain any trust in Tom Brady's Bucs for overcoming a 17-point deficit against the Atlanta Falcons.
They are a dangerous team if you just look at the numbers, if you just look at the names. But if you look at the execution, that's when you have to scratch your head. Looking at the Bucs going against them, I knew that was going to be a dogfight. It's the end of the year, ladder's not going anywhere, and that's when they turn it on. That said, I'm still looking at Tom Brady as the cherry on top with this situation. They came to an understanding in philosophy, which will take a little of the exclamation point off of this team. In terms of offense or defensive production, you won't see the extremes you saw under Bruce Arians when he had full control. With Tom Brady there, he likes complimentary football.
I'm trusting you down the stretch. Down the stretch means playoff games. Down the stretch doesn't mean
means now too.
Okay, sure. But what is the now? The here and now is tomorrow, the next week, the next week. The next week is the playoff.
But you're playing against teams that have nothing to lose, which is a dangerous opponent. And then you're playing against teams that, the NFC East is your first round opponent, whoever that is.
Who are you going to depend on if you're the Buccaneers? What's your identity? You don't have it.
Oh, stop that, please. I don't see too much football to know that you can have a carousel of characters and get the job done. You don't have to depend on just one. Who's the lead guy? Who's the alpha? You remember the greatest show on turf? You want to name how many good receivers they had? 97?
Isaac, Bruce, Marshall, Falk.
And wait a minute. And
you knew that
Isaac King. Oh, you gonna do Isaac King like that?
Saying,
you just did it.
Brooke,
that's my point.
Isaac, Bruce, Marshall, Falk. They was the dogs.
Yes, they were the dogs. And they had another one with them. He ain't no puppy either. Isaac King. They were dogs. Here's a quote. Don't take my word for it. Listen to his teammates. And when they said, Brady doing it on the biggest stage has inspired all of us. We have a ton of confidence in him, and he puts that confidence in us as well. That's coming from Devin White. You know who Devin White is? He had a game. He's a beast, and I got to give him this prop.
He absolutely 1,000% deserves all, not some, all of the credit. Viewers of the show know I'm a stickler for rules, and there are certain rules in the NFL. Rule number 1, as evidenced yesterday. The Jets will invent new and creative ways to rip the heart out of their fans. Check. Rule number 2. You kick the ball off to Patrick Mahomes needing a 3-and-out to get it back, you're going to lose. Hey, that happened yesterday too. Check mark. And rule number 3. If Tom Brady's team wins, he gets all of the credit. And when they lose, it is quite literally everyone else in the organization's fault but his. So let me check. Bucks won, Brady credit. That's how it goes. Listen, folks, we know these rules. They are now 9-5. 9 times this year, Tom Brady has won them games. 5 times this year, the other 52 players and Bruce Arians have lost them games. So Brady really is 9-0. With just 5 times the other people screwed it up for him. These are the rules of television commentary, of in-game announcing, and and I assume team building. So yeah, of course, Wilds, he gets all the 0 points they scored in the first half is his team. The game plan sucked. The 20, what did they 31 in the second half? Tom Brady made it happen. That's the rules. Yes. And so, yeah, he gets all the credit, Wilds, 100% of it. clearly.
Yes. So it was great to see the Southern Patriots win a game. Was very happy for them. Gerald, I know you're new to the show, but you laughed at your old buddy Kevin Wildes. I was like, hey, Gerald, Tom Brady is not going to lose. The Falcons are going to pull Lamar Jackson. Bathroom break. We got nervous. Same thing. 7-0 now against the Falcons. I was like, Gerald, is this a thing? Like, do teams get scared? You're like, nah, Wildes, you don't know what you're talking about. You've never played. And we're going to show the statistics, Katanic, on how good Tom Brady is against the Falcons. I'm telling you, this is a thing, Gerald. So you can shoot me down again and hurt my feelings, or offer an olive branch to your old buddy Kevin Wildes, or new buddy Kevin Wildes, I could say. Like, you know what? Tom Brady owns the Falcons just like he owns the Vikings, and he owns, oddly, the Bucks. The Bucks have never beat him. So I still think that the Falcons are scared of Tom Brady.
Two things that I'm going to give the credit, and one of them is not Tom Brady. Tom Brady did what Tom Brady was supposed to do, playing the Falcons. Two groups. Two things. One is the Bucks defense for waking up. And second thing I blame is Bambi. And I'm sure y'all wonder, what does Bambi have to do with NFL football game? The Bambi are the types of legs that Matt Ryan had in the second half. He had Bambi legs in the second half. He got back to those noodle legs where he gets nervous, he gets scared and starts shaking, and it's Matt Ryan. Like Nick said on Friday, this is fool's gold. Listen, Bucks, I love you. You know I love you. But if I'm going to say we because I'm still a Bucks fan, if we play like this in the playoffs, it's going to get ugly. You cannot go down 17-0 in the playoffs. It's not going to work. You got to do better than that.
I take away that this season for the Bucks, not to be self-congratulatory, but let me congratulate myself, is going to go exactly to a T how I said it was going to go after they lost to the Chiefs. Get the bye week, regroup, win 4 straight to end the year, be the darling hot team that could cause some damage, only to get beat in the first round of the playoffs. Whether they play Seattle, whether they play the Rams, or even if they play the Washington football team, this Bucks team is not going to be able to do what they did against Atlanta. They are 9-5. They are 2 amazing, and to their credit, amazing second half comebacks away from being 7-7. Who did those second half comebacks come against? The Chargers, who are awful, and the Falcons, who are a touch better than awful. And so I get it. Everyone's going to say, oh, this team's dangerous. This team is who they've always been. If you can't get a pass rush, their offense is going to click into gear. I'm shocked they scored 0 in the first half. I thought they would run away from the Falcons in this game. And when they play them in Week 17, they probably will run away from them. And Wildes, when they play the Lions next week, they'll crush the Lions. But that doesn't mean they can beat good teams.
And for the first time in 13 years, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are headed to the NFL playoffs.
How impressive were those back-to-back halves for Tom Brady?
Overrated.
What?
Overrated. So let me get this straight. I'm just going to make sure I hit this correctly, Skip. The 3 worst pass defenses in all of football: Falcons, the Lions, the Seahawks. 2 of the last 3, can you tell the people who he's played the last 2 weeks? The Falcons and the Lions.
And I'll give you at Falcons, that could be I see a division game.
2 of the last 3, can you tell the people who he's played the last 2 weeks? The Falcons and the Lions.
What did the Falcons just do to my homeboy at my homeboy?
Give me.
3rd and 10. Blitz coming again. Mahomes in some trouble. Throws while he's going to get knocked down. 3rd and 5. Mahomes has a completion. Hardman did not get there. The old Newt Rockney. Look at this. Back to you. And looking to throw it is Watkins to Mahomes. And it is picked off. Keanu O'Neal is there for the interception. Mahomes fired. Intercepted Aluakon at the goal line. Foye Aluakon still on his feet. Here's Mahomes to Williams on the pitch. Looking to get to the sticks, and Neal says,
Now, the Lions run a defensive scheme that Tom Brady has heard the verbiage for the last 20 years. You think that gave him an advantage, Gil? Sure.
At Detroit, you can stop.
A loss.
At Detroit, you can stop.
A loss. I know you was going to do this. And this is what we do with Tom Brady. When he plays well, I told y'all, it's this. And then when he doesn't play well, you blame the defense. You blame Bruce Arians. But now all you mention is that when he goes up against bad secondaries, is that Tom Brady, Tom Brady, Tom Brady. This is what we know. When he plays teams that are in the playoffs or on the cusp, he lays an egg. New Orleans twice, gagged. Chicago, right there, they win next week, they're in the playoffs. My homeboy lost it. So, Skip, don't give me that. You know and I know what they lost to somebody else. Who did they lose to? They lost three games in a row. But anyway, we know the Rams. So any team that has playoff aspirations are right there. But I'm not overreacting to Tom Brady doing what he did against Detroit.
Brady tape is so deep on this table right now that I think I'm going to drown.
Truth.
Let me remind everyone, there were only virtual OTAs. Tom Brady was trying to figure out his new receivers and his new team, throwing in some public park in Tampa and got run out of the park because he was violating the quarantine. Then there were one or two. No, there were no preseason games. There weren't even one or two. There were 0 preseason games. He got thrown into the fire against his division rival, your Super Bowl pick at New Orleans. Tom Brady said, okay, that's enough. I got this. When they fell behind 17-0 a week ago at Atlanta, he said, I got this. When they fell behind 24-7 in the third quarter, he said, no, I got this. I told you it was a virtuoso. I told you it was a masterpiece. He threw for 320 yards against that same defense that went and shut down Patrick Mahomes at Kansas City. Held him to 7 points through 3 quarters. And Tom Brady...
They held you to no points in the first quarter.
Wait, Tom Brady put up 31 points in the second half at Atlanta and threw for 320, which was by far the most yards any NFL quarterback has thrown for in a second half all season. I don't know what's better than Mona Lisa because I don't know art that well, but I told you the one against Atlanta was a Mona Lisa. This was the greatest ever. This was 348 yards on top of 320. So let me just put this in some perspective for you. Last year, Jameis Winston threw 33 touchdown passes and led the league in passing yards with over 5,000.
Right.
He also threw 30 interceptions and lost 5 fumbles. So that was 35 turnovers. Right now, Tom is already 3 above him.
Clear.
With the whole game to go, again, against Atlanta. This one's in Tampa Bay. But Tom Brady has thrown 11 interceptions, which you have ridiculed him for, but he's only lost 1 fumble all year. So he has 12 total turnovers to Jameis's 35 a year ago. So what happened? 7-9 a year ago has become 10-5.
Let's get.
And Tampa made the playoffs for the first time since 2007. Is there a more dangerous team in the NFC right now, a more dangerous road team? Because this team seems to play better on the road than it does at home.
Their best chance is to hope somebody can knock off New Orleans. I do not believe they can beat New Orleans.
Okay, I do, and I am hoping. I am spoiling for one game. I want to see third time's the charm. I want to see Tampa Bay at New Orleans. Who knows, for the NFC Championship. Let's just see what happens. Maybe it would come before then. I don't know how it will play out, but I want to see it.
Is Tom Brady's move to Tampa already a success?
Yes. Last time that I checked, yes, it's a damn success. You know what's funny about Tom Brady right now? Because he's the most decorated player in NFL history. I seriously, moment of silence and reflection of his greatness. Like, okay. Damn!
Quick. Like, that was way too quick a moment of silence.
No, we on TV. People like, hey, keep it going. We know he's still playing. But being real, dog, there's been over 25,000 players to step on a football field in an NFL game. And Tom Brady looks at every single one of them in their eyes. No matter who you're talking about, Joe Montana, Charles Haley, all these guys with 4 or 5 rings, it doesn't matter. And he looks at them from up high because he's the most decorated football player ever. You know what the problem is in perception right now? A billionaire just got $1 million check. He looking at that like, okay. You are looking at it like,
that's a good take.
Okay.
I like
because
that.
that's what the problem is. What Tom Brady just did, Baker Mayfield is like, I would love that. Hey, Tom, over here, let me get that $1 million. Let me get that playoff berth. Let me do what you've done in Tampa Bay so far. And what has he done? He checked a couple of boxes that people were challenging him to check. What was the first box? Win without Belichick. Simple as that. Keep it simple. You gonna leave Bill Belichick? Oh, we thought you were a game manager or a system quarterback. Go somewhere else without Bill Belichick and his influence and win. Check. Now, what's the second box they asked him? Can you have an impact, winning culture mindset, cultural impact anywhere else? Or was it all Belichick's way, Patriot way? Went to Tampa Bay. Same Tampa Bay that has not made the playoffs since 2007. Check. Uh-oh. They haven't won double-digit games since 2010, a decade ago. Tom Brady, check. Hell yes, it's success. We're not going to get into the Super Bowl or bust conversation, but I'm going to let you take your lap, because if you take me there, I'm coming back with the counter. Let's do it.
It's not a success, Marcellus Wiley. And it's not a success for Tom Brady because, like you just said, if that billionaire makes $1 million, it ain't a success for him.
Come on now.
It ain't a success for the billionaire.
Yeah.
Tom Brady,
Come on,
Marcellus
man.
Wiley, 18 years as a starter in New England, 18 years as a starter, the full starter, the full season. 9 times you made the Super Bowl, 50% of the time. More than 50% of the time you made the Super Bowl, you won the Super Bowl. It ain't a success to make the playoffs for Tom Brady. Not a success.
Wow.
We're used to making a playoff. It's not a success for GOATs to do good things. It's not a success for greats to do good things. Greats, it's a great thing. That's a success.
He changed the identity, be real, of the most losing franchise in sports history. Not the Clippers. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers had the most losing seasons in sports history. And Tom Brady shows up, and all of a sudden we are talking Super Bowl contention as long as Tom Brady in the building. But you want to talk about Super Bowl or bust. You try to reconstruct it. You try to say it in a different way. But basically you're saying if Tom Brady doesn't win at all, then how is this a success?
Here's what I'm telling you. It's an accomplishment. It is not a success. An accomplishment is to get something done. They won 10 games. That is getting something done. A success.
And playoff berth.
And a playoff berth. That is getting something done.
10 games don't mean a playoff berth. Ask Baker.
That's true. Okay. That is getting something done. Success is accomplishing the aim or purpose.
Oh,
that's the difference.
So there's only one successful quarterback, one successful team a year.
It depends on your aim or purpose. What was Justin Herbert's purpose this year?
To just sit and learn?
To prove after he became the starter.
Oh, okay.
To prove he can play quarterback.
Yeah.
Tom Brady's aim or purpose in going to Tampa was not to make the playoffs.
Don't
Tom
do that
Brady's
to Tom Brady.
aim or purpose in going to Tampa was not to lead the league in passing yards. His aim and his purpose in going to Tampa was to get to and win a Super Bowl. So is it an accomplishment? Yes. Is it an accomplishment if I write another book? Yes. I've accomplished that task.
Yeah, but
it's not a success unless I accomplish my aim or purpose.
Tom Brady has played now, this is his 21st season. How many Super Bowls has he won? 6 out of 20 so far.
Yes, sir.
Are you, half the time you're saying Tom Brady is a failure? Are you saying 14 of 20 times Tom Brady is a failure? Come on, the definition of success has to embrace that Tom Brady in those other 14 seasons was still a success.
For Tom Brady, making the playoffs, bro, that don't mean nothing.
When we're talking Baker Mayfield, will continue to tell me the zip code and how Cleveland is such a bad franchise that anything he does should be deemed hood rich. That's what you tell me every time, Baker. Well, he's on the Browns, and the last time the Browns. That's the same with the Tampa Bay Bucks, but worse with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So how come I don't hear the same kind of support for Tom Brady in this situation? The question is Tom Brady's move to Tampa already a success? For the most losing franchise in sports history, for a franchise has not won, has not had double digits.
I see your
You're talking about Tom Brady.
disconnect.
And Bruce Arians, 7-9, changed quarterbacks, 10 wins, maybe 11 wins.
It's a success for Tampa.
Thank you.
It's not a success for Tom Brady. And I think that's where we differ. difference between Tom Brady and Tampa is the success for Tampa because they're accomplishing something that they, the organization, hasn't accomplished in a while. But for Tom Brady, who can wake up every year and go to the playoffs, wake up, go to the playoffs, wake up, go to the playoffs, it's not a success for him. That is, I think, where we differ.
Okay, we can differ there, but damn, Tom Brady, 14 years of his career, he wasn't a Super Bowl champion. And this could potentially be another one. I just can't look at that as not a success because you went to a situation that needed cultivation, that needed a winning culture, that needed your spirit, your attitude, your performance. You gave it all to them, and all of a sudden they crossed the threshold they struggled to do before you with the same coach. And that's not a success? Boy, you're a harsh critic. Don't have no kids.
There are a few things Marcellus Wiley hates in this life.
What?
One is vegetables.
Stop that. You have a perfect show so far.
Damn. Two is saying something is Super Bowl or I hate that. Tom Brady, you don't leave an organization you've been with for 20 years. An organization in which you've been to 9 Super Bowls, in which you've won 6 Super Bowls, you don't leave that organization simply to go to the playoffs. You don't leave that organization to accomplish less. You leave an organization with the greatest football coach of all time, where you've accomplished the greatest achievements of all time to go accomplish the same, Sal. You don't leave to go get worse. Tom Brady didn't leave New England to achieve less. He left to once again be on the billboard to hoist the Lombardi. So Super Bowl or bust is absolutely the right mentality.
When the Tennessee Titans went out there and upset the 14-2 Baltimore Ravens and then was in a fight with the Kansas City Chiefs, then they got smoked. What did people say? Ooh, next year. No one looked at them as a bust team. We had higher expectations of them. Make it make sense. Separate the rhetoric from the reality.
The expectation, sir, is higher. So it has to be pass or fail. We don't look at the 07 Patriots season and say, oh, y'all were 16-0. Success. We say, oh, y'all didn't win at all. Failure. That's what we're going to do with this Bucs team.
The GOAT before Tom Brady did exactly what Tom Brady is doing right now, and according to you, failed. Joe Montana left, not on his own accord, but left San Francisco, did he not? And he went to Kansas City, and went to the AFC Championship game. And no one looking at history has ever said that was a bust season for Joe Montana. So if it's good enough for Joe Montana to just fall just short and still be the GOAT and still be the greatest and not even have an asterisk on his resume, why would Tom Brady all of a sudden find himself in that situation? I just get a little issue, you know me, you already said it, when it gets so polarized, so extreme, so absolute, that if you don't do it all, you didn't do anything.
That's fair, and I understand the take. It's not that either of us are right or wrong. I think we just see things differently, which is okay.
Yes. Give that man who won 9 in an AFC Championship game. You think he gives a damn about going to the NFC Championship and that's it? No, it's all about Super Bowls. He's made that abundantly clear. At this point of his career, it's all about rings. And if it doesn't get a ring, it doesn't mean a thing. So all Bruce Arians did was tell you what everybody already knew, that Tom Brady in this season is come down to this. Are we going to be in Tampa playing for and winning the Super Bowl? If not, this was not a success. That's what Tom Brady plays for. That's what the great, and he's a great, look, there are levels of greatness. He's at the highest. He's at the highest video game. You know, whatever video game you guys are playing now, whatever the highest level is, that's what Tom Brady represents. And what he's chasing, it ain't Pro Bowl. Yeah, it'd have been nice to go to another team and make the Pro Bowl. He didn't do that. Yeah, it'd be nice to get, but that is not what he plays for. Tom Brady is all about Super Bowl. Can he get another one? And that's all that matters. He about Lombardis. He's got 6. He's trying to get 7, maybe 8. Tom Brady is trying to set that mark out there so far that nobody's ever going to get it. And Tom Brady said, you're not going 6? Patrick Mahomes, you think you're going to get, okay, let me get one. I'm going to get one more. So you have to go a little further to try and catch me. So I'm not surprised. And Skip, you know B.A. When have you ever known B.A. to hold bite his tongue or hold back? B.A. can't hold a secret. That's why he could be in the military, because he told everything. whatever they discussing, we got the plan. We go to 300 out. Hey, BA said we coming.
No, he would announce to the enemy, we're coming over here. We're coming right over to here.
So I'm not surprised that BA said that, but all he did was state the obvious.
Bruce Arians would have been within his rights, though, when asked that question, to temper expectations by saying, hey, remember, we threw a lot of new pieces into our puzzle this year, and it may take us a little while to figure it out. I hope we figure it out this time, but maybe it'll be next year. I love that he acknowledged this because he embraced it and he owned it because it is the flat out in your face truth.
It is.
Even though they added the GOAT quarterback and then they added the GOAT tight end. And then to just snap your fingers and say Super Bowl or bust, is that fair? It's not fair, but it is reality.
Skip, when LeBron James goes anywhere, what's the expectation?
Okay.
And that's just the expectation that comes along when you have Tom Brady on your roster. It's Super Bowl or nothing. That's all it is.
Okay.
So, I mean, I'm not hating, and whatever you want to take this as, I'm just going to make the statement. When the playoffs come, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers will go get ran. They're going to get routed. And I know I probably shouldn't say, this is going to be a good old-fashioned ass whooping, I believe.
Washington, while I do think Washington, if they get Tampa, can be dangerous, they also right now, who are they starting at quarterback? Heineke? Like, they'd just be happy to be there at 7-9. Don't get hot tier. These are three teams that if their quarterback plays great, they look terrified. Lamar's an MVP. Russ is the best player to never get an MVP vote, is what I believe, and I think a lot of people believe. And obviously, Brady's won a bunch of MVPs and has looked awesome post-bye. Those three teams, while I don't fully believe in them as Super Bowl contenders, if they get hot, they can be dangerous.
Did Tom Brady prove anything to you in the win?
He didn't have to prove anything to me. He just established that at this point in the season, moving forward and into the playoffs, this is his domain. This is his territory. He was absolutely lights out yesterday. And again, this team was configured to win and win right now. Win this year, not next year, but win this year. And so what Tom Brady did yesterday was go out and do exactly what was needed to give his team an opportunity to win that game. Was it impressive? Yes. Did it impress him? I watched his body language all game. No, he didn't care. He didn't care because in the totality of it all, this isn't even important to him. What's important to him is for his team to identify his body language and take on his persona, which is, it's all about the postseason. I just need you to play, and as well as myself, him, 3 hours as best as you can from here on out. That's what he has come to understand and has perfected, and that's what we have seen him establish over the course of his 20 plus years in this league. Like, this guy, this is the time of year that it's all about Tom Brady.
He proved a lot in the win yesterday, but to Greg's point, he really established that he is still dominant. He established that he is still capable. He established that he can still make all the throws with a clean pocket against a meaningless team in a meaningless game. What I'm still waiting for Tom Brady to prove is what it sounds like Greg has just told us Tom Brady is still waiting for Tom Brady to prove with this Buccaneers team. So Tom Brady proved some things, but the Bucs didn't, and that's what I want to see. Like, that's where I've been the last 3 months. That's where I've been in talking to Marcellus about this. He did it against a team in a meaningless game with no pressure. He's about to play playoff teams. Record versus playoff teams, not very good. And y'all know about the pressure of that Washington defensive line.
He proved a lot to me yesterday. And I'm going to tell you why. Because Tom Brady, using Tom Brady's words to be a part of my argument, Tom Brady loves the game of football, even in his 21st season. He says because the game of football has no entitlement. Every single moment is an opportunity to prove who you are in the game of football. And it's interesting that Tom Brady has that mindset. And I think that mindset separates man versus machine. You know why he's the most decorated NFL player ever? Because of that mindset, that he has something to prove. And by the very definition of proving something, you prove your truth. You prove your existence, your evidence, your argument, whatever. You go out there and continue to prove it. Because if you don't, you know the criticism is coming to try to take you off of what you've been trying to prove. What I learned yesterday was that Tom Brady is going into his season, the postseason, proving every single snap that he is the GOAT that got fresh milk that's going to nurture all these youngsters on this roster to a championship.
Are we really going to sit here and say that we learned a lot about Tom Brady beating bad teams? Like, y'all know we know Tom Brady can beat bad teams. What happened when Tom Brady played them Saints? 2 total touchdowns, 5 total interceptions. What happened when Tom Brady played the Rams and the Chiefs combined? 5 total touchdowns, 4 interceptions. What's happened when Tom Brady played the Bears? He forgot what down it was. 1 touchdown, no pick. I'm just giving y'all facts. Don't be mad at me. I'm the messenger. I'm just here delivering the news. I did not create the news. I'm simply delivering it.
It was impressive. I had him, I think I had him at the beginning of the year somewhere between 28 and 32. I thought he would do that. I thought he would be double digits in interceptions, considering that guys that's normally in their first year, Bruce Arians, and he liking to throw the football down the field, he sometimes forces you to put the ball in harm's way. So I thought he'd be somewhere between 28 and 32 touchdowns, but double figures of interceptions, something that we don't normally see from Tom Brady. And so he exceeded what I actually thought he would do. No questions about it. I'm not going to sit there and say he didn't exceed. But Skip, let's be real now. We got to be, let's be objective about this. 30 of his 40 touchdowns came in 10 games against teams that didn't make the playoffs. But let's not pretend like he did it against the 85 Bears. Let's not pretend he did it against the 2000 Ravens. Kudos. He did this. He did through 40 touchdowns at age 43. I'll give him a B for the season.
How about scale of 1 to 10? How high would you go?
7.5.
Okay.
7.5. I will give him kudos. He exceeded. Even Bruce Arians says he exceeded his expectations. I mean, he finished the season 10th in QBR, 19th in completion percentage, 11th in yards per attempt, and he threw 12 interceptions, which is the 6th most interceptions in the league. So I think it's a great season for him, considering. And if somebody would have told me that Tom Brady was going to throw 40 touchdowns, I said, man, you don't get out of my face.
Somebody did tell you he was going to score or throw 40 touchdown passes, and that guy's sitting across from you, and I told you that before the year. He'll throw 40 touchdown passes.
And I told you to get out of my face.
40, and you laughed at it. 40.
Skip, it's over for Tom. The days of Tom Brady being thought of as the best quarterback in the league, now he's the most accomplished, but it's not even close. He's not even a top 5. There are 5 quarterbacks, 6 quarterbacks that I would take right now in front of Tom Brady. And nobody goes in front of my homeboy. You know that, I know that.
Tom Brady will throw 40 touchdowns, because I told you from the start, I believe something special is about to happen to Brady in Tampa.
Okay. 40 touchdown passes.
40
Thank you very much.
That's a magical number.
You just saw the greatest 43-year-old season from a quarterback you will ever see.
Man, the greatest 40-year-old season.
Okay, well,
40 and above.
No, you can have Patrick Mahomes, and God knows we'll be sitting here to watch that, because it's a long way away.
That's 15 years.
But the point is, there's no way anybody's ever going to top this.
Probably not.
They went 11-5. That's the best record that franchise has had in 15 years. Mm-hmm. It's the first winning record they've had in 10 years. It's their first playoff appearance in 13 years. I think they are a very dangerous playoff team. I picked them to win the NFC. I'm going to stick with that pick.
This is our home. And at the end of the season, history will be made here. But this place is so much more than that. This is our playground. It's our crew. And after a year of facing our challenges head on, this is where the road runs out.
The Super Bowl's in Tampa next year. I mean, let's just lay it all out there on the line. If this happens for Tampa, it would be just monumental.
Tampa Bay is no stranger to this moment. We all know about struggle, and we know how to overcome.
Coast to coast,
when we raise the flags, we know what's at stake.
Right here. We didn't want to go out there and make it happen.
After all, this was never meant to be easy.
The road to playoffs start tonight. How bad y'all want it?
No excuses, man. If you don't make the first play, make the next 3 plays, all right?
They got the field us today. All day. Let's go. All day.
For the originals, for the legends, and for everyone who's waited long enough.
Go play our ass off. Let's go. Cut it loose.
Brady goes deep. What a throw. What a catch. And it's intercepted. Jason Pierre-Paul high-stepping down the sideline. And Rodgers is still on his feet. And it gets that leaping interception from Lavonte David.
You got to seize this moment, dog.
So pack your strength, your giddy up, and finish the ride. Together, let's raise them up.